is Michelle Henrietta Micetich with the Carbon Hill School Museum. I'm going to talk a little bit about places that are located within our county that we know today for one reason, but were actually early coal mining spots. One of those is the area that is known as Jugtown, and that is where the Goose Lake Prairie Park is today, along Pine Bluff Road. Fix that. That particular area was the site of some underground miners. George Woods had a mine there way early in the 1840s and 50s, and it was a one-man mine, and he went right down into the earth in his little cage elevator, probably a bucket. He had one horse, and it rotated around a wheel with a rope, and it would hoist things up, and George did all of his mining on his own. The other mines that were out there belonged to the Peart brothers. You'll still see Peart Road in the area of Goose Lake Association. But where they're located, we're right on the land that is now the Goose Lake Prairie Park. Jugtown, of course, came soon after the I&M Canal was formed. Many speculators were buying land at that time because they saw the profit that could be made by moving things across the canal. One of those men was Charles Walker from New York, who became one of the first of the Chicago Board of Trade. But he was a big proponent of the canal, and he bought some land. He had a colleague or a friend from the Noah White Potters in New York, was one of the sons, William, come and start a pottery factory. And of course there was coal on the land, and there was also this wonderful clay. And the pottery was there for quite some time, closed in 1866 for financial reasons and just the location of it, and moving that clay product to the canal broke a lot of pieces, so it wasn't profitable. At any rate, that's Jugtown, and you can go to the Goose Lake Prairie Park and still see all that particular history. You won't see George Woods' mine spot. You won't see the Peart's mine spot. You will see plenty of the strip mining spots that are in that area, because after all the coal was mined away from what became our villages, the mining companies went out to the boundaries and saw, okay, we haven't mined the coal here yet. Let's take these big digging machines and gouge into the earth 90 feet deep and go down through all the layers and get that 3-foot seam of coal. So they did that. There's a book at the museum here. It is called the Goose Lake Township Centennial Book, written by Pete Codat, who's the township supervisor. It has a whole section on the coal mining with pictures of the early machines. There's a picture of Melbourne McKee, who was the chemist for the Northern Illinois Coal Company. There's a picture of the coal washer that was way over along what is now where Route 55 is, and that's the Cinder Ridge Golf Course. But that was originally the huge center for the Northern Illinois Coal Company. In between there, that was the Greer, remember Greer? Where the men learned to use the heavy equipment. And they cleared all the land off after the mining and went to school to do it. It was a very efficient way of doing business and making it ready for modern times. The last person that I'll mention in this section is Bob Drake, who ended up being a Morris citizen, came from Lockport, but he bought the land from the Northern Illinois Coal Company and developed all of it, changed all the roads, and made that beautiful area where now many people live. About 600 people, I think, actually live in the Goose Lake Association. We managed to reclaim our land quite well. Many places did